All right. So, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, everyone. This is Movie&GameLover98, and for this stream, Movie&GameLover98 and Jake Martin are going to join us as I do my Sony Wonder DVD collection again. So, here's a link for Movie&GameLover98 to join. And I sent one for Jake Martin as well. All right. Now, I just sent Movie&GameLover98 and Jake Martin the links so they can join. Oh. Sorry about this. That was actually a link. These are the StreamYard links for Movie&GameLover98 and Jake Martin. Doing good, you? And okay. Sounds cool that you went to summer camp. closing the door, and look who's coming.
It's me, Movie&GameLover98, joining FlickLova 2000.
Now, you might be wondering what this stream is about.
Yeah, I've never done something like this before.
This is actually my entire Sony Wonder DVD collection.
Interesting.
And so I put the Sony Wonder releases next to the Columbia TriStar releases, both part of Sony.
Okay, so I guess we could show, that means Dragon Tales will be included, or it will just be mainly Sesame Street as well as Arthur as well?
It's just Sesame Street and Arthur. Those are by Sony Wonder. Columbia TriStar released the Dragon Tales ones along with JG the Jet Plane, and I showed you those before.
Well,
so
true.
Yeah. Sony Wonder is kind of like the sister to that of Columbia TriStar, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I think they're both owned by each other in a way.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's start the Sony Wonder DVD collection. And here's the very first Sony Wonder DVD to be released.
Yeah, and also Jake Martin's welcome to join too, because the link's provided.
Yeah. I sent him the link to that as well. So here's the very first Sony Wonder DVD release, and this is actually also the very first DVD release of Sesame Street to be released.
Yeah, I only have one thing of Sesame Street to show you. I can show you it now.
Sure, that's Old School, Volume 1 from 2006.
Well, it's the original box set released from 2006, not the reissue from Shout Factory Kids. This is Volume 1, which it basically goes from Season 1 up to about Season something.
Season 1 to Season 6, I believe, or Season 5.
This one because this is 1969 to 1974, and some people say they don't want to get this because this is, at that time, Elmo was not introduced yet.
And I can imagine, I have something similar to this. I'll show you it again later, but there's something very similar to the old school sets, except it's a newer version of it featuring modern episodes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that because they released 3 volumes of Old School. Basically, like, I know there's 2 on shoutfactory.com. Well, they're probably on Target or Walmart too. I'll probably give them a check later. And
this one that I'm holding, this one's TV episode Fun Pack Volume 1, which features episodes mostly from Season 35 to 37.
Okay, yeah, I think that one does introduce the introduction of Abby Cadabby.
On Volume 2 it does, but on Volume 1 there are no episodes with Abby Cadabby.
Okay, because I don't know if in this set that I'm showing you, don't the 2 purple monsters appear, like the ones that appear in when Big Bird goes on this Journey to Ernie segment in later seasons? Or were they not?
They probably weren't included at the time. They probably may not have been introduced until like the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay, because I know Elmo was introduced in 1984, so this was way before Elmo was introduced.
Elmo was actually used as a background character in the late 1970s before he became Elmo in 1984.
Okay, so like sometime in the 70s they just used him as a background like thing before they made him an actual Sesame Street Muppets.
Yeah.
Like an actual Sesame Street Muppet. Well, yeah, I don't have that one. I probably that.
Yeah. That Richard Hunt voiced Elmo for a few episodes, but then Richard Hunt got fed up with the role that he passed it on to Kevin Clash.
Yeah, I don't know why the original Elmo decided he was fed up with that.
Probably because Richard Hunt made Elmo sound more like a caveman rather than an actual 3-year-old.
Yeah, that was weird, because I know... Yes, this kind of reminds me of how James was not supposed to be voiced by a woman in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, but for some reason they had to cut Michelangelos. So I think the 2 monsters that are purple, I'll just say the 2 purple monsters were probably around before Elmo was introduced.
And would you like Season would you like there to be a custom Volume 4 set, which features episodes from 1985 to 1990, which is like the last of the Jim Henson era of Sesame Street?
Yeah, that was before Jim Henson passed away due to what caused him to pass?
An untreated bacterial pneumonia.
Oh, okay. And I know Carol Spinney, who also passed away due to this one.
Carol Spinney had dystonia.
Dystonia? What does that mean? I've never heard something like that.
It causes muscle contractions.
Oh, something was wrong with his muscles. Yeah, mine doesn't have the guide to say what the episode list is for my old school set, but if I get one from another copy, I'll basically say that one, yes, it's the first episode of Sesame Street from 1969. Gordon introduces Sally to Sesame Street.
And
yeah.
And how would you like Volume 5 to also be released, featuring episodes from the Calypso era Around the Corner set with Zoe?
So basically, like if they made a fan-made Volume 4, which that one would go from
1985 to 1990.
So like that was around the time when after Elmo appeared. And then a custom Volume 5 would basically go from 1990 to basically like in between like
1990 to 1990. 1990 to 1995. And then for Volume 6, this will be the very last one, 1996 to 2000. Yeah,
and basically like they just show one of the seasons was around the time Elmo and Grouchland was going to be released.
And then so anyway.
Yeah, you show.
All right, now back to a musical celebration.
Mm-hmm.
The very first Sesame Street DVD release.
Yeah,
and this was
This
was released on DVD on July 1st, 1997.
Interesting. Oh yeah. 1997 was like when they still did DVDs in 1996, like I said. Because like I said, I looked on Google.
The very first DVDs might have been made in 1996, but they weren't actually released until 1997.
Okay, because DVD is coming up on 25 years old. That's what I know, because I said like that the film Twister was released on both VHS and DVD at the same time in the 90s.
Actually, the Twister VHS was released in October 1996 on VHS first, and then on DVD in March of 1997.
Odd if you ask me, because I know for a fact they did release Madeline, one of the other Sony Pictures movies, on both VHS and DVD at the same time in 1998. Well, yeah, Music Celebration, I know that was released in DVD in the 90s.
And it was actually originally released on VHS by Random House Home Video in 1993, and then re-released on VHS by Sony Wonder in 1996, before it was given a DVD release.
Yeah, and I know for the fact that that special was actually released around the same time Zoe was introduced. I'm not sure, or if it was after.
It was a little bit before when it came out on VHS, because Season 25 premiered in November 1993, and the VHS was released in October.
Okay, so that was a while before that's the 25th season, or at the time of season 25.
I've heard that production started shortly after season 24 is concluded, because the special was taped in June of 1993.
Yeah.
I do Kyle Pellegrin, but that is a Columbia TriStar DVD release.
Yeah. I said, yeah, probably. Yeah, while you're showing the DVD, I can explain something else, if you don't mind.
And also, Ernie did not speak in that special. That was because they were still trying to find a new puppeteer to voice Ernie at the time, and they couldn't find one in time for the special, right after Jim Henson has already passed 3 years earlier.
Oh, yeah. I guess they couldn't find someone to do a puppeteer for him, but I know did Bert speak in that special or no?
Bert sung a part of Sing in one scene, but he didn't speak.
Okay, just
Ernie didn't speak or sing at all, on the other hand.
okay, so I think the ones who spoke in that special were
Big Bird.
Mostly Big Bird, I think.
Big Bird. Elmo spoke in some scenes. Prairie Dawn and Telly Monster spoke in the special as well. Grover only spoke at the very, very, very end of it during the sing portion of the song.
Who did?
Grover.
Grover, yeah. I like Grover.
Oscar the Grouch only had one line at the very beginning during the Sesame Street theme.
Yeah.
And his only line was "yuck" during a part of the Sesame Street theme.
Yeah.
But anyway, this DVD contains a song list, unlike the VHS, which does not.
Yeah. Just imagine if they did add that special as part of a fan-made old school volume something. Or they just put it.
They would. Well, they made a slightly different TV version of it called Sesame Street Jam, a musical celebration, a year later, in 1994.
Okay, so around the time of overseas.
It's basically the exact same special, but with a slightly different title. It's still the exact same special because of the exact same clips and everything.
Yeah, I noticed it too.
And there's a difference between the home video release. The home video release has the title saying Sesame has a kid saying the text has a kid saying Sesame Street's 25th birthday, a musical celebration. Whereas on the TV airings, Big Bird says Sesame Street Jam, a musical celebration.
That was interesting.
Yo.
And Jake Martin, you get to join me and FlickLova2000 in, well, he's being the one to host this time. And he got a haircut. I was showing FlickLova2000 this earlier, Jake Martin. You get to see it too.
I'm showing him
Sesame Street Old School Volume 1.
And now I'm showing him the very first Sesame Street DVD to be released in its entirety.
Yeah, and I'm going to show Jake Martin the old school. This is the that was around I'll tell you, Jake Martin, this was before Elmo was introduced, the old school volume 1.
I think he was introduced in 1980, season
84.
11.
1984 is when Elmo appeared.
But he appeared as a background character first, before he was named Elmo in 1984.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I found it very strange that Jerry Nelson and Richard Hunt made Elmo sound like an adult when he should sound like a kid.
Yeah, Kevin Clash took
even
the role.
Richard Hunt.
I can imagine what it'd be like if in one scene Kevin Clash was unavailable to voice Elmo at the time, so Frank Oz had to step in and play
but
Elmo.
At least,
like, hello,
but at
Elmo's
least,
Elmo.
But at least
that would be weird.
Yeah, that's too weird. But at least Elmo is now performed by Kevin Clash since 1984.
Yeah, and also
actually, Elmo's been played by Ryan Dillon right after Kevin Clash stopped playing him in 2012.
Yeah, and also I want to show you something, Jake Martin. My old school set did not come with that episode guide, but I know, yes, the very first episode of Sesame Street is called Gordon Introduces Sally to Sesame Street.
And Gordon is played by a completely different actor in the first 3 seasons, and in season 4 and 5.
Yeah, I know he has a full hair.
Oscar Orman was the third voice of Gordon
and
the
beard.
major voice of Gordon throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah, I think was it before this Roscoe actor played Gordon?
It was. Gordon was originally played by Matt Robinson, who unfortunately
passed away
from Parkinson's disease in 2002.
Well, on back of my set, this one says Jackie Robinson, but it's a different Mr. Robinson who does the role, who plays the role of Gordon in Sesame Street the first couple seasons.
Oh, I do have some Sesame Street DVDs. Let me pull these guys out of my closet.
Yeah, and it's also going to probably be on Arthur, Jake Martin, if you like Arthur. Oh, well, Izzy's grabbing it. Wait, Izzy.
Well,
Right.
we
Here I
won't get
come.
into the Arthur DVDs until we get to the 2002 DVD.
Sorry, what was that?
Warner did not release
Well,
any DVDs of Arthur until 2002.
Well, yeah, we're probably. I hope you don't mind us showing Arthur stuff, Jake Martin. But if you don't like Arthur, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure everyone
I
likes.
respect your opinion if you don't like Arthur, and if you don't like other PBS shows like Clifford the Big Red Dog or stuff like
Not that
either,
much.
That's fine.
So you're saying you kind of like Clifford the Big Red Dog or
I'm
Arthur?
talking about Arthur.
Because like that one, we know the very first episode is Arthur's eyes and Francine's bad hair day of season 1. Oh yeah.
And
Well,
if you notice, if you look at the disc has the CTW semicircle logo on the disc art, which could indicate that it could possibly be a reprint from like 1998 or 1999.
yeah, that's kind of interesting.
The original disc from 1997 with the CTW text is very rare to find, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I hope you don't mind if I show this to Jake Martin, Flick Love of 2000. But I don't know if any of you guys watched this when you were a kid. Look at this. It's a LeapFrog release.
I have not watched that, but I have played with the LeapFrog
Me
products,
neither,
like the
but I
LeapPad,
did watch
Vipers,
some of your
LeapPad
videos
learning
where you
systems.
did the LeapFrog book.
Well, these are fun to watch sometimes, too, the LeapFrog videos where you can see them come to life.
I haven't seen the series, but I have played with LeapFrog products, like I said, the LeapPad and the My First LeapPad learning systems.
Well, these videos are worth giving a try. Or you can just watch the rips on YouTube if you want to see their rips. But I recommend these old ones. The later ones from 2009 are terrible.
The ones that Lionsgate reprinted.
Yes. Well, even though Lionsgate reprinted these first 5, it's the same content.
I can imagine what it would be like if LeapFrog actually made DVDs in like 2000 and 2002, and maybe we could have Columbia TriStar release those until 2003 when Warner Brothers took over.
Because, yeah, I know for a fun fact, there's this one character, I might not give out his name, but I hope you don't mind me saying this guy's name in LeapFrog videos, because he's here in the first 6 original LeapFrog videos. Because, like, I remember, I forgot these existed, but I know you were probably a 3-year-old kid when these came out of 2000, but they came out in late 2000.
Actually, I was technically 2 years old when this came out because actually, I was 3 at that time because it was released in
December 2003. It actually was released the same day as Dragon Tales We Can Solve It Together VHS and DVD.
It was actually 1 week after.
Or 1 week after. Actually, 1 week after. So not the same day. So, but both, like, I guess I could have gotten them for Christmas. But I don't think you've seen either Jake Barnes, the LeapFrog videos. If you don't like them.
Yeah.
Not that much.
And you know Movie&GameLover98? Here's something that I could imagine. I could imagine that if LeapFrog DVDs were released in like 2000 and 2002 and had the same animation style as the books without the CGI extra animation stuff, then we could have Columbia TriStar release those LeapFrog DVDs until 2003. Then Warner Brothers could take over.
That means we could have had more of the ones from the designs of the Frog family from the LeapPad books, but in video style, but use these styles from 2003 to basically 2005.
And for the ones released in 2000 to 2002, they could have the same animation style as the actual books.
Yeah, but without.
And on top of that, we could have Porchlight Entertainment and the Children's Television Workshop work together to make that.
Because you know how in these videos, whenever they use these kinds of animations, they beam with their teeth, huh? But in the LeapFrog books, they don't do that.
It'll be like the LeapFrog books for the 2000 to 2002 releases, and maybe, and then in 2003, Sesame Workshop would stop making the series, and with only Porchlight to continue making them.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, let's get to the next release. You can show the next. Well, you gotta finish that streak thing, yeah.
I checked this DVD. The DVD opens a little bit differently than the Sony Wonder VHS release. While the VHS uses the FBI warning, the Sony Wonder logo, and the Children's Television Workshop Sparks logo from 1983 with the electronic synthesized noises and the title card and the Sesame and a special version of the Sesame Street Calypso theme with the kids enjoying a nice day at the park. The DVD opens up a little bit differently. It has the FBI warning and the Sony Wonder and the Children's Television Workshop Sparks logos. This time the DVD has a slightly different version of the Sparks logo where the audio is a little bit different. It has, and then after that, it goes to the Sesame Street home video logo, which of course has Sesame Street Muppets building something for it. And Cookie Monster says, "It's so exciting." And then Big Bird is like, "Hey, that looks good." And then Elmo gets multicolored wood, and then it stretches out to read home video. And then Elmo says, "Yeah, Sesame Street home video."
Yeah.
And then after that, then we go to the title card and the Calypso version of the Sesame Street theme. We go right to the film, and the special, I should say. And next up, this is the third Sesame Street DVD release to be released. And the first one, and the only Sesame Street DVD to be released in 1998. And that is Elmo Palooza.
Elmo Palooza.
I don't have that DVD yet. Like I said, I really want to find it. I prefer the sets with all the episodes. But that's a cool release, yeah. It's got like stuff.
The VHS of Elmo Palooza was originally released on April 14th of 1998, but the DVD wasn't released until June 3rd, 1998.
Yeah, June of 1998. That was before I was born.
10 days.
Yes. Before I was even conceived.
And this has many guest stars. It stars David Alan Grier and Jon Stewart, with musical guests Jimmy Buffett, Sean Colvin, En Vogue, Gloria Estefan, the Fugees, Kenny Loggins, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, and Rosie O'Donnell. Now, if you want to know who Rosie O'Donnell is, Rosie O'Donnell was actually the voice of Betty Rubble in the live-action Flintstones film.
Yeah, I know you haven't seen that film yet, the live-action Flintstones.
I've seen the
I know Fred was played by
I've seen the 1960s.
James P. Sullivan or John Goodman.
I've seen the I've also seen the 1960s Flintstones animated TV series, though. It's been really funny.
Like when did that 60s end, that series?
1966 is when the animated series officially ended, but then they made spin-offs of the show.
Okay. So that was 3 years before Sesame Street came out when the Flintstones 60s series ended. That was before.
And it started in September 1960.
Okay.
It ran for 6 seasons.
Wow. That's even a good amount, even more than Dragon Tales, in my opinion, because Dragon Tales only has 3 seasons.
And in 4 out of the 6 seasons, B. Benaderet voiced Betty Rubble. But then in season 5 and season 6, Jerry Johnson, Gerry, as Jerry Johnson, then took over as the voice of Betty Rubble after B. Benaderet left the series to work on Petticoat Junction at the time.
Interesting. And also, yes, I was going to tell you, Jake Martin, how I was telling you about the episode when I showed you the CGI part 2 of CGI Thomas Home Media Collection when we got to the Thomas Way. It reminds me of the episode Tales You Lose.
Yes, we already mentioned that.
There's the DVD I have that has that episode. Don't
And
give up.
of course, I don't have Don't Give Up on DVD.
But you said you were going to get the DVD Say Hola to Enrique.
Well,
I might as well show you, or if you got the DVD already, that's fine.
I don't have it still because
it's coming. Well, you said it was coming, right?
Anyway,
my parents aren't home yet.
Here's what the
disc,
here's what the disc for Elmopalooza looks like.
Yeah, Flick Love 2000.
It's a nice.
That's cool. Yeah. Pretty yellow.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I can imagine.
I'm gonna tell you how this DVD opens up with. It's got the FBI warning, and then it goes to the DVD menu.
First Sesame Street DVD to have a menu, because A Musical Celebration and Elmo's World don't have them.
Don't you mean A Musical Celebration and Elmo State's Christmas don't have them?
Since they came out on DVD in 1997.
But this one is released in 1998, so after the FBI warning, it's got the DVD menu, and then it has a cut short version of the Sony Wonder logo where it fades out earlier, and then it has the 1997
early.
And then it has the 1997 Children's Television Workshop semicircle logo, and this is the only DVD release from before 2000 to use the semicircle logo, because after this one, after this DVD release, they stopped releasing Sesame Street DVDs until the very end of 1999.
Yeah. And yeah, when I was telling you, Jake Martin, well, let's just go with the DVD first, Flick Love 2000, then I'll show Jake Martin the DVD I was talking to him about.
And then after, then after the CTW semicircle logo, it's got the Sesame Street home video logo, and then, of course, we go right to the special. It actually aired on ABC in February of 1998 first, before it was released on VHS in April.
That's rare, like, that reminds me of something else. But yeah, let me show you the DVD I was telling you about, Jake Martin, the Say Hola to Enrique DVD. Here's the one I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm currently on the works on getting it soon. Along with the others I already mentioned.
You know what Say Hola to Enrique kind of reminds me of? That kind of reminds me of the debut of Abby Cadabby in Sesame Street, a brand new Muppet character.
I have that. TV episode.
I don't have those yet.
TV episode Fun Pack Volume 2, and yes, of course, welcome to Sesame Street, Abby Cadabby. I sound like Sir Topham Hatt.
Well, apparently at the beginning of the episode, Oscar is very displeased and like, you will unwelcome to Sesame Street.
Well,
Oscar was silly old Oscar.
He needs to accept something new.
Oscar was being kind of rude to Abby Cadabby at the beginning. He's like, you can't just appear like that by somebody's trash can there, fairy rings. Who do you think you are?
Some of the characters of Thomas, they make them feel unwelcome. Like, you know how in Thomas the New Engine from season 9?
And
Neville?
Season 6, too.
And also Emily's New Coaches from season 7. And Edward Strikes Out with Rocky from season 10.
Well, Harvey to the Rescue from
season 6 Oscar.
Harvey to the Rescue from season 6
silly old grouch.
Times an engine feels unwelcome to the railway, so that would probably be the earliest time. Harvey to the Rescue from season 6.
So, like how everyone makes Harvey feel unwelcome, but Thomas feels sorry for Harvey?
But I'm surprised James didn't. Well, actually, James did make a rude remark saying he's just cranky on wheels.
And then Percy says he's not taking his mail? Harvey doesn't do that stuff. Who I would imagine him pulling the mail train.
Actually,
and then Gordon is like, surely Topham Hatt won't let him pull coaches.
Actually, Percy says he's not taking my mail.
Well,
but then when everyone feels they say them differently, they say well done and they say very useful.
In my opinion, I think they should have extended the episode with Sir Topham Hatt speaking severely to the engines for making Harvey feel unwelcome. It's like, you should know that it's not polite to make people feel unwelcome or hurt the engine's feelings. If it happens again, you will say I will send all of you to the sheds.
Well, in this one, to fly with a new friend, they do make Enrique feel welcome. Well, he just feels scared of the new dragons when he first sees them for the first time.
Kind of reminds me of when in the very first Sesame Street episode when Abby Cadabby.
Even when he met
Abby is afraid
Quetzal,
to
who
meet
speaks
Big Bird and Snuffy
Spanish,
because
just like
she
him.
thinks that Big Bird and Snuffy won't like her.
Actually, that's another interesting. Remember I was telling you about when Elmo was not introduced in the very first seasons of Sesame Street? When was Snuffy introduced? Was he probably
in the second season?
Okay, in the second season, just a while after season 1 started.
Yeah, season 2.
I think season 1 had more episodes, because I don't think it has just the introduction, just Gordon introduces Sally to Sesame Street. I think there's more episodes in season 1, I just don't know the list, because I don't have
130 episodes of season 1.
There's what? How many?
130.
Wow, that is a lot. That's even more than Thomas has 26 episodes per season.
Sesame Street had 26 episodes per season beginning in season 34 to match up the letters of the alphabet.
So basically, starting in season
34, they went over to
34.
Episodes.
So yeah, like that was like the season before a few seasons before Abby Cadabby, so that's season's 34.
Yeah.
Abby Cadabby was introduced in season 37.
Yeah, 37, like I said.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up.
Yep, let's to the next release.
Into the 1999 DVD release of Do the Alphabet.
Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on the time, guys, but actually there's a way we can keep going, because that's what my brother kept saying, so I don't get distracted again. I can just take my filming stuff outside, but you guys can keep on filming, yeah.
So anyway, the 1999 DVD release of Do the Alphabet. It was originally released on VHS by Sony Wonder in 1996, back on February 6th of 1996. And then it was given a DVD released on November 9th, 1999.
Yeah. I know, like, for the DVD came out after 10 Years of Thomas came out on VHS alone, basically, because 10 Years of Thomas...
DVD came out
10 Years of Thomas the Tank and Friends.
A little over 2 months after Dragon Tales first premiered.
Yes, but 10 Years of Thomas came out on VHS alone after Dragon Tales premiered, just about a week and a day after.
That'll be none other than season 1.
Yes, and also like when the P-Pals got replaced with Dot and Dash with the transformation, well, just the logos basically. Yeah, the
transformation idents didn't appear until Clifford premiered in 2000.
Yeah, so just the simple Dot and Dash ones with them running, Dash thinking and Dot running to the screen.
And
yeah.
So anyway, this is what the DVD looks like.
Yeah,
and
interesting. I was saying that I don't know that Muppets character that
very weird that I want to point out about this DVD, and I will get to that eventually.
Yeah. While I'm explaining it, I might as well show something cool to you, Jake Martin. You said you're also trying to get Dragon Tales We Can Work It Out 2003 DVD. I can show you it if you don't mind.
Of course.
Well, I might not just tell you what happens in these episodes. Well, have you seen these episodes? Just individually.
Well, I don't have that DVD.
My number one favorite TV show from my childhood
I don't have that. I don't have that DVD, but hopefully I'll get it soon, along with what else? Oh yeah,
my number one favorite TV show.
Some DVD, some Wiggles DVDs like Wiggle Bay and Top of the Tots, and the 2 Thomas VHS tapes, Percy's Chocolate Crunch and James and the Red Balloon, and We Can Work It Out Together was the first video to introduce season 2 episodes to the audience. And I think this is the first time Max's voice actor actually changes.
No, season 3 is the first time Max's voice actor changes.
Yeah, just like your favorite Thomas narrator, that'll be none other than George Carlin, when he changed his voice when he narrates season 4, since this one,
It started to get more nasally in season 4.
Because I think he was getting
older.
I think it's getting older because they think he was starting to lose interest in doing kids shows, and also yes, Dragon Tales Cassie the Green Dragon is the only time in season 2 Cassie cries.
And yes, there is one episode that you
I want to point this out. This is the only
none other than Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon, because you know the drill.
Just wanted to point that
out.
Hello,
Cassie, little
DVD
brother
to have
Finn.
2 dragons crying.
Movie and Game Lover 98's favorite baby dragon.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is also the only DVD to have 2 different dragons crying in 2 different episodes on the same DVD. First, it's Cassie the Green-Eyed Dragon with Cassie, and then Breaking Up Is Hard to Do with Ord crying.
2 times in Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. And also, this is the only episode Finn cries in season 2. Well, in back in the storybook, he and Kiki make the worried faces. They don't. If they would have cried again, I would have been so annoyed. But yeah.
And actually,
as for me, I would have been very disappointed.
I found out that in Elmo Palooza, Elmo actually cried in one scene of Elmo Palooza because he thinks he messed everything up.
Yeah. Poor guy. I was like, poor dude.
My poor Sesame Street character. Even yours, Flickus.
And also in Elmo Saves Christmas, Big Bird cries in one scene because he thought he would never see Snuffy again.
You know, I was going to tell you something cool. There was a Sesame Street movie I watched in elementary school, guys. And it's the one where Big Bird goes with this dog called Barkley to Japan, and he gets freaked out. That scene scared the daylight out of me as a kid.
Big Bird in Japan?
Isn't that the movie? But because the other one's called Follow That Bird.
Well,
it was a different movie. Big Bird in Japan? Isn't that the movie you're referring to?
Well, in Follow That Bird, he went to Illinois before he decided to go back home to New York.
And also, I found out that in Big Bird in China, Telly Monster had a completely different voice because he was voiced by a different puppeteer instead of
Brian Meal. Yeah, but then in 2004, Martin P. Robinson redubbed his lines.
That was interesting. Yeah. More about the alphabet.
Even though it kind of reminds me of in the song "We're All Monsters."
Kevin Clash redubbed Elmo's lines from the original Jerry Nelson.
When "We Are All Monsters" was included on the Elmo Says Boo DVD, Kevin Clash redubbed the lines that Jerry Nelson originally played.
Yeah, that's what I said, Flicka.
Wow, I didn't know that stuff because I haven't watched these things in a while. But like I said, yeah, Do the Alphabet's got a cool purple disc.
Well, looks a bit pink to me.
Pink. And you know what is very, very odd about this DVD? Despite the fact that the semicircle logo is included on the back cover and on the disc art itself, the DVD itself surprisingly has the 1983 Children's Television Workshop Sparks logo at the beginning after the Sony logo.
Interesting.
And it's got the bells clinging to, just like the DVD of A Musical Celebration.
Yeah, and also can I tell you something really quick, guys? Jake Martin, the Grudge won't budge. I think that's the only thing I found weird in the episode is that they did not use safety gear when they were sliding on the ice. Or
bother!
They could have gotten hurt. They could have gotten
hurt. Even worse, they could have possibly been killed if they weren't careful enough.
Yeah, they should. But I know how on thin ice on the DVD, Believe in Yourself, they do use safety pads so they don't hurt themselves on the ice.
But I could have sweared if they should have used it in the first place.
But it gets different to their animation style. But yeah, let's get to the next release.
Here's another release of Sesame Street from 1999, and that is 1, 2, 3, Count With Me. And it was originally released on VHS on July 8th of 1997, and then was released on DVD December 14th, 1999.
Yeah, it looks interesting to me because I know, for a fun fact, I think this release, I think it kind of reminds me of this one book that was a Thomas book illustrated by Owen Bell that has like the Lift the Flap books, and I think it's the last one where you have to count numbers on the last page of the Thomas's big Lift the Flap book. The one illustrated by Owen Bell.
And of course, this special is about when Ernie goes over to the furry arms to show everyone how useful learning to count can be. It's like the
Yeah.
sequel to Do the Alphabet.
Yeah,
except
the furry
instead of
arms
letters, it's
is-
numbers.
Yeah, the furry arms is at around the corner, which it's kind of sad that we don't get to see around the corner on Sesame Street.
Anymore, at least.
That's the sad thing. That kind of is unfortunate. But yeah, you'll never believe this, Jake Martin. I have 2
And
copies
then,
of
like
DVD.
the
Calling
DVD
all
of the
engines,
alphabet,
of
there
course.
is something strange about this DVD of 1, 2, 3, Count With Me as well.
What,
It's got
what
the
was that?
same. It's got the same Sparks logo at the beginning, just like the DVD of the alphabet.
Sparks logo.
But this time it's completely different. This time it's got the usual electronic synthesized noises that is usually heard on the logo.
Yeah.
And to
Notice
be honest
that.
with you,
Yeah. I'm
Sparks,
listening.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, the Sparks logo was probably my least favorite out of all the
Aw.
logos
why
because,
do you dislike Sparks?
well,
Um,
it's because
I
the
mean, I
Sparks
like
kind of
Sparks.
remind me of a fire.
Or fireworks, or just fires in general. It doesn't really matter.
Well, the font is okay, but the spark animation is very, very cheesy.
Cheesy. That's like saying something's cheesy. It just has a cheesy problem. And yeah, and you were saying something about you want Percy's Chocolate Crunch on VHS or DVD, Jake Martin. I have this version of Percy's Chocolate Crunch with a CD.
Jake Martin, are you in any interest getting any DVD or VHS releases of Arthur or VHS releases of Sesame Street?
Well, I do have 3 Sesame Street VHS tapes. We'll make it 2 because there's 2 videos on VHS, like a musical celebration and 1 Elmo's World episode I currently own. And yes, Movie and Game Lover 98, I did say that I am getting Percy's Chocolate Crunch on VHS along with James and the Red Balloon, probably around the same time when I was getting Dragon Tales, We Can Work It Out, The Wiggles, Wiggle Bay, and Top of the Tots.
Now we get into 3 Sesame Street DVD releases from October 30th, 2001.
Get to those releases. Yeah, I might as well show you James and the Red Balloon on VHS, Jake Martin, if I can get it.
So here's the first one, and that is, of course, I wonder what Movie and Game Lover 98.
He's getting his James and the Red Balloon VHS, and here it is.
I heard that there are some copies of that have balloon misspelled with 1 L.
Well, it's on the DVD.
That was on the DVD disc. They forgot to put another L for balloon.
Which I actually do have the DVD of James and the Red Balloon, because mine has that error where balloon is only spelled with 1 L instead of 2. But I probably could do this to have 2 copies with the disc. Does have balloon spelled correctly. But I know it just doesn't have the shiny sheen on the disc, which I like those shiny things, but I prefer just have it not have any errors.
Next up, now we're gonna go into this next Sesame Street DVD release, and that is Kids' Favorite Songs 2.
Kind of reminds me of Barney songs in a way, or
More Barney songs?
Yeah, or Thomas songs from the station, or sing along in stories.
Tracks iTunes.
Yeah. Everything's songs in them.
And I'll tell you the songs for this DVD. Some of them are out of order. Elmo's song is actually the last song on this.
Yeah, they should have put it in last. Darn Sony Wonder.
But
Yeah.
it's listed as the first song on the back cover when it's actually the last song on the DVD.
That's odd.
And then on top of spaghetti, a diddle diddle, the bear went over the mountain, the ants go marching. If you're happy and you know it, Mary had a little lamb. Up and down with Captain Brown, Rubber Ducky, Where Met They Me, Nino, and Itsy Bitsy Spider. And believe it or not, they made 2 different versions of the Sony Wonder DVD release in terms of how they opened up. One of them surprisingly
Different version.
One of them surprisingly uses the 1997 Children's Television Workshop semicircle logo, which freezes to the DVD menu, even though the CTW semicircle logo is already obsolete.
That was
By that
strange.
time.
Like a VHS, one of these VHSs, like the logo like stops after like several seconds and then goes straight to the film. That DVD is like an exception.
It freezes to the DVD menu, that CTW semicircle logo on some copies of kids' favorite songs too, but not this one.
Yeah, it's like one of those VHS releases of Dumbo. It reminds me of that. Yeah.
And then another copy opens with the Sesame Workshop logo, which fades out and then goes to the DVD menu, in which this is the copy that I have.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I guess I don't have that release. The favorite songs. I might get it.
So do I.
Like I said, I don't like to have too much with Abby Cadabby. Like that's like I don't want to have too much of the CGI Bob the Builder. I refuse to have any CGI Bob the Builder or the reboot, even though the Project Build series is not too bad.
Well,
Bob the Builder.
Yeah, I don't like Ready Set. I think it's Ready Steady Build. I don't like that.
I probably didn't really like Bob the Builder, period.
Yeah, Flick Love 2000 is not a big fan of it, but we respect your opinion, Flick Love 2000 on Bob the Builder.
Because Bob the Builder, the clay animation is kind of weird, which is why I dislike Bob the Builder, period. Not just the CGI, but everything about it.
Okay, not like all eras of Bob the Builder, and just in general, because
yeah, but the CGI one is way worse.
I didn't
2015 reboot.
Oh, he's talking about the 2011 version of Bob the Builder, the one where CGI like bounces.
Yeah, that's trash.
But yeah, and also I was trying to show you. Well, let's look at this DVD first, and I'll show you something cool, Jake Martin.
All right. Here's this next DVD release. It is the 2001 DVD release of the Alphabet Jungle game, and that was originally released on VHS on July 7th of 1998, and then was released on DVD October 30th, 2001.
That's a cool day, because this is another one like they learn Alphabet games, and yeah. And also something I want to show you cool, Jake Martin, like, yes, I do not like Bully for You of Dragon Tales.
And I don't like No Hitter of Dragon Tales either. Both of them are equally as bad, because Ord is a crybaby in No Hitter after Max kicks his tail, just like Cassie's a big crybaby in Bully for You after Spike takes her basket of sugar plums. Ord is just as big as a crybaby as Cassie was in Bully for You in No Hitter.
Well,
all because Max kicked his tail.
I know.
And that's what made Ord, in my opinion, that's when Ord was a big crybaby. Wouldn't you agree, Movie&GameLover98?
Yes. Oh my god. It was like...
Do you think the sound of Ord crying is worse than Cassie crying or better than Cassie crying?
It's very bad. It's as worse as Cassie's cry, in my opinion.
Well, maybe it could be even worse than that of Cassie, because when Ord does it, he does it very loudly.
I think Cassie does it more quietly.
But Ord does it loudly, especially in a bad season 2 episode, Big Funky Cloud.
I know you despise that.
Yes, because it reminds me of the time I keep having a time crying and when I go to sleep because I can't stop thinking about my mom. I wish my mom was still here.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
What about?
Like every time I just can't stand having a bad day and I just wish my mom was still here to make me feel better. Just yeah, like I told you, I told Jake Martin the reason why she passed away in 2013 when I was just a teenager in high school.
Yeah, some pains.
That was all kinds of pain. I don't know which ones. It probably was just her hip pain, or it wasn't her chest. Her chest was fine. It's just her hips hurt a lot.
Yeah, and
did anyone in your family have pain in the chest area of Movie&GameLover98?
No, The rest are fine.
Well,
Anyways, yes,
that kind of reminds me of when I dislocated my kneecap back in 2018, and I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, and yes, Bully for You, and I don't like how
Yes.
Cass cried when Spike took her sugar plums, but should have just act like a
Nor
man.
do I like it how Ord cried in No Hitter after Max kicked Ord's tail. Both of those scenes are equally as bad.
Anyways, yes, yes, yeah, we dislike Bully for You, and yes, I prefer the Shining Time Station episode Bully for Mr. Conductor with a Thomas and Friends episode Bulgy.
And yeah, what if there was a crossover where
Yeah.
I wonder what it'd be like if they made a crossover of Shining Time Station with Sesame Street too. So that means the Sesame Street cast take a trip to Shining Time Station to read stories by Mr. Conductor.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, let's get back to that Sesame Street DVD because.
And the Alphabet Jungle Game, this DVD has the Children's Television Workshop semicircle logo appear twice on this DVD. The first time it appears, it brings to the DVD menu, and then the second time it appears, it goes to the Sesame Street Home Video logo because the DVD uses recycled mastering from the 1998 VHS release.
Yeah, like
interesting enough. I mean, like I said, I just prefer these compilations.
Interestingly enough, this is one of the rare times DVDs of Sesame Street actually contain previews at the end from the respective VHS releases.
That's cool. I mean, I've never seen that before. Like, that's like a certain Thomas VHS. It doesn't have any previews at the beginning or the end. You know, for example, Jake Martin, Thomas and Friends, It's Great to Be an Engine does not have any previews. Like on the VHS, it has no previews at the beginning or the end, kind of like the DVD in a way when you press play all stories on the DVD version.
Yeah, and yes, about Trust Thomas, they did not bother playing the VHS master. Instead, they used 5 episodes from
other releases.
Yeah, like Trust Thomas from Thomas and his friends Get Along. Mavis and the Trouble with Mud from 10 Years of Thomas. No Joke for James from Best of James. And Percy's Promise Out of Sync from
Thomas and his friends help out.
This one?
Yes.
And apparently they didn't even bother. They accidentally used the Strand VCI logo on the VHS of Trust Thomas from 1992, despite it being released by Strand Home Video.
Yeah, I noticed that too when I had Trust Thomas on VHS, the original version.
I wish I had that. I'm currently getting it on VHS. Excuse me. I only have it on DVD.
And Henry's Forest are from the VHS release itself.
They used the original VHS master audio because you can tell they used the original VHS Rockwell font. Because someone said it was like a Rockwell font because you can tell by the font style in Toby's Tightrope and Henry's Forest on the DVD.
And even the intro and the name-born sequence.
And the end credits.
All right, next up, we go into the very first Elmo's World DVD release.
We get to go to Elmo's World now. Well, at least I can show for something else. Yeah, and I also know, yes, you have this DVD, Jake Martin.
Yeah.
Experience things. The very first. You have this is also like this. This is the very first Dragon Tales DVD I got. Same with you. Yes. To Fly with Dragons. Yes, the very first episode of Dragon.
Everything. Kind of reminds me of everything, of course. Sesame Street, Thomas, Bob the Builder.
The Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, one I despised.
But the first one from the 2002 series is actually a good one. Well, if you don't like the 2002 series, well, are you neutral to the 2002 series of Berenstain Bears, Jake Martin, or are you just not a big fan of it? Or are you neutral?
I do like the one from 2002, because I do have some.
Anyway,
because you know how...
Here is the very first Elmo's World DVD release. It's
Dancing Music and Books.
It's called just Elmo's World, but it has these episodes on it.
The DVD has dancing, music, and books, all of which are from the very first season of Elmo's World. because
Yeah,
the design of Elmo's World is much paler than usual, because when it's got a rather pale design of Elmo's World where most of the room is just white, not that much color in the first season.
Yeah, very bland. But I know later seasons they get it more colorful.
Beginning with the second season, definitely. But this contains episodes from the first season, hence why it has the rather pale design of Elmo's World.
Yeah, and also Jake Martin, moving on, yes, it kind of reminds me like, when Sophie, Cassie's big sister, leaves, and Cassie kind of sniffled just a tiny bit, but she didn't really cry. That kind of reminds me of like, how like at the end of the Blues episode, Steve goes to college, when I cried at the end of that scene when Steve left and I didn't want him to leave. And also the Thomas episode from season 21 when Edward left Hidden Sheds and I got so upset because I didn't want him to leave.
For Edward?
Yes.
Well, that
Thomas
kind of...
didn't cry.
Well, actually, in the SpongeBob episode, Squid's Visit, Squidward sniveled a little bit after he said, "And they're better than mine."
Yeah, I despise Squid's Visit from season something of SpongeBob.
Season 6.
Well, I don't. Because
I hate it. The montage of SpongeBob crying in every place and he won't shut up. Seriously.
Do you think...
yes, I do have one SpongeBob DVD that has Squid's Visit. The complete 6th season, which I know it's on to SquarePants or not to SquarePants.
And that season 6 DVD also has the episode Giant Squidward on it, which is also on the DVD of SpongeBob versus the Big One.
Yeah, the sister episode is No Nose Nose. And yeah, but also about moving on, like, when...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of season 21 of Thomas, A Shed Forever. Like, Thomas didn't cry in that scene when Edward was out of the scene. And neither did, well, the friends and family in the Blues Clues family didn't, well, they were a little bit sad because Steve was going to leave. But when they were reading a card about saying good luck to Steve at college, and they said, we're all going to miss you, but then they made their worried expressions, and they say, before they say, because you're so smart, they feel pleased. And everyone doesn't cry at the end when Steve leaves, because, Joe's there to take care of everything while Steve goes to college.
Now,
so of course,
this Elmo's World DVD, this is another DVD which contains previews from the VHS release on this DVD.
Cool.
And not only does it have all 3 of the episodes being from season 1, but it also has the older Elmo's World intro from 1998 with the exact same pale design of Elmo's World and stuff. And then we go right to the episodes, which makes sense to use the correct intro from season 1 on this DVD, because it has this, not only does it have episodes from season 1, but it also has the intro from season 1 with the old, rather pale design on it.
Yeah. It's kind of like that in a way. Yes, I mentioned it kind of reminds me of how the Dragon Tales, they used the wrong thumbnail image at the end of the Dragon Tales theme song, despite that season 3 intro did not exist yet. Well, the Dragon Tales theme song is still the same, but just the picture's different at the end.
Apparently, the DVD of Adventures in Dragonland, which has the CTW semicircle logo at the end, also has that thumbnail error.
Yeah, even like all the other ones, like on the very first season 2 release, which I showed earlier, we can work it out.
And also the very first release of Dragon Tales, period, Adventures in Dragonland, also has that error. Even though all 5 episodes are from season 1.
And, well, Don't Give Up does fix that error. That's the only release to have that error fixed.
But they didn't even fix the error on Adventures in Dragonland, which is the very first release.
Yeah, and yes, I mentioned, something missing, Jake Martin. Yes, it reminds me it's better than Miami or Bust.
Yeah.
But between those, which one do you think is worse from the Miami or Bust one? Well, when Thomas didn't warn Ryan about the bad coal and lost treasure, which one is more worse? The Miami or Bust scene at the beginning, or Thomas in Lost Treasure not warning Ryan about the bad coal?
Miami or Bust, which I haven't watched it.
I watched it. It's just not as good. It's just the beginning was not good at all.
But hopefully either this year or next year I might watch it, and I might find it like
like Emmy just doesn't tell Max anything. She doesn't even warn him. Why didn't she do that?
Well,
I could have sworn if she did, Max should have told Emmy, what if the dragons will be calling us?
And then Emmy could have just said, "Don't worry, Max. You can still go to Dragonland while I go to the store with our dad." And then Max says, "Thank you, Emmy. Thanks for reminding me about that." And she says, "Oh, you're welcome, Max.
And
I better get going. Dad's waiting for me in the car. See you
and
soon."
next up we go to the DVD release.
when Max got to Dragonland, he should have explained to the dragons that Emmy went to the store with her dad.
Jake Martin, here's something that could surprise you. There's actually one Sesame Street episode where a Muppet says there's two kids who wish and wish with all their heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. And ironically, both those are made by Sesame Workshop.
What episode is that?
Season 30.
That was the season 37 episode where Big Bird wishes the adults were kids. That's where they made a Dragon Tales reference in a Sesame Street episode.
Oh, those references.
Yeah. But yeah, also about something's missing. Like, they could do the same thing when Zach and Wheezy cheer, "Hey, look, it's Max," and then Wheezy screams, "Love it." But what if Cassie was added and she says, "Where's Emmy?" Or we're like, "Yeah, where is she?" She went to the store with my dad. "Oh, she did? Well, good thing she reminded you to warn you about this, Max, on this important mission." "Well, at least you're here, Max, and Cassie too. We could use your help with something for Quetzal."
Well, they didn't bother putting Cassie in my Emmy or bust. Those bad boys.
And remember when Ord was scared in a lot of season 1 episodes like Stormy Weather?
Stormy Weather.
That kind of reminds me of when Patrick got scared in the episode Rock Bottom, and he's like, I don't like it here. It's dark and scary. I want to go home.
And it says, I love the one he still says,
bathrooms apart.
It's like, "I still can't read the sign. I want to go home." And then the first time Spongebob does this bus.
What if that was Bill Fagerbakk's impression of Ord when Bill Fagerbakk did a scared Ord voice?
Ord's voice actor was Ty Olsson.
Yeah, I know it. I know
Patrick's was Bill Fagerbakke, and also a lot of people complained that Gordon from Thomas and Friends in season 5, Gordon sounded like Patrick, even though Alec Baldwin was the one who use a low tone voice of Gordon.
And
like
actually,
that's Henry's too.
That kind of reminds me of
even Henry's.
That kind of reminds me of when Michael Brandon did a similar low tone Gordon voice, especially in some episodes like Edward the Great, when he's like, "Spencer's just a big silver show off."
Yeah, and like other ones where he says, "Fancy sending a back engine to do an express engine's job."
Well, yeah. I know in Percy's big mistake, Michael Brandon added a little gruff one when Gordon wished, "Now look what you've done. What will Sir Topham Hatt say?"
That was even more gruff than his kind of low tone Michael Brandon. That was a bit more upbeat with Michael Brandon as Gordon.
Now what? And don't you think George Carlin's Gordon voice is very gruff as well? Like, especially like, "Who cares? A lot of nonsense, if you ask me."
What was that from? Like he says, "A lot of nonsense."
Gordon the famous visitor from season 3.
Oh, that one where he says, "Huh? Who cares? A lot of fun. Nothing."
Do you think that sounds gruff for George Carlin as well?
I think it does. Well, because George Carlin was still kind of young at the time. Because I know.
I can remember Ringo Starr's Gordon voice in Trouble in the Shed. He's like, "Henry's not going. We won't shunt like common tank engines."
Or little tank engines to say the U.S.
Little
version.
tank engines. That was Thomas's job.
That kind of sounded like Alec Baldwin's season 5 Gordon voice in the way that it's very low tone and stuff.
Yeah, that's due to Ringo Starr's take on Trouble in the Shed. But yeah, let's get. Oh yeah, why don't we show this first, and we can get to. I can talk about the episodes next week.
Elmo's World, Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah, kind of reminds me of Dragon Tales Cowboy Max. Not to be confused with the. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say this, Jake Martin. if you don't like Max and Ruby, I respect your opinion.
I don't watch that show, Max and Ruby.
Okay, well at least they don't tell you they don't tell the audience what to do.
Well, unlike in Dora the Explorer, which does.
And Blue's Clues, but I like Blue's Clues as the best Nick Jr. show, despite
even the spin-off of Dora the Explorer, Go Diego Go, has Diego telling the viewers what to do.
But in Blue's Clues, it's just Steve or Joe. And even the reboot Blue's Clues and You with Josh.
Well, I can imagine if they rehired Steve in Blue's Clues and You and they brought the original host back.
But that was not going to happen because the actor Steve Burns says he doesn't want to keep doing children's shows. Kind of like George Carlin says he doesn't want to keep doing children's shows because he didn't want to keep doing it for the rest of his life till he passed away in 2008.
Yeah. And I could, or well,
yeah.
What if there was one that were like where there was an actor that mostly did acting in kid shows and like, I don't want to continue doing adult stuff anymore, profanity and stuff.
That'd be interesting.
So anyway, Wild West. Did you know that that Kevin Clash was wrongfully accused in 2012?
Oh my God, I feel sorry for the guy. Well, I like the guy in real life.
Elmo was wrongfully accused in 2012. That's what caused Kevin Clash to left the show.
Well, who voiced Elmo in 2013 to present, despite Kevin Clash left?
Ryan Dillon?
I don't think I like Ryan Dillon's new Elmo voice as much as Kevin Clash's, in my opinion.
Clash,
they look similar. It's kind of like how Barney. It's kind of like how Barney's voice actor almost sounds the same to me.
And also, I couldn't believe that Kevin Clash was wrongfully accused in 2012, which caused him to left the show.
You know, that's also due to the fact, like, that's how Thomas's original CGI voice actor, Martin T. Sherman.
Yeah, Sherman.
Hit Entertainment was treating him poorly, and he had to leave after season 18, which was his last CGI thing to voice Thomas in full CGI, season 18.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, Wild Wild West kind of reminds me of the Dragon Tales episode Cowboy Max. Not to be confused with the Max Ruby one, which I know that's not.
And although this DVD is from November 2001, this has the darker Elmo's World design from season 4 because it has a darker design. It has a design that looks like it's from season 4, even though season 4 didn't premiere until 2002. It has the season 4 design, even though this DVD is from 2001. And this would be the earliest time where Elmo has trouble opening his door at the very beginning. His fingers get stuck in it, and then
silly door.
Being
selfish.
He tries to open it like this, and then the knob actually comes loose, and it stretches into something, and then it snaps back at
my God.
Elmo, causing Elmo to fall.
At least he didn't get really hurt so bad.
The ground.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. Yeah, and before we get to how the DVD opens and closes, Jake Martin, yes, you said how Finn cracks you up in Room for Change because of the way he talks.
Yeah.
Oh, you know how the words he says, babies, and then Cassie says to him, "That's right, Finn." And yes, at least I know.
I should have laughed.
Yeah, and every time he pops out of the box with with him doing his fun face, man, it just gets me every time.
I should have laughed. I should have laughed over Finn saying a word.
Because even though I pretend he's like a 3-year-old baby dragon, but he still can't talk. But that's just due to Kathleen Barr's doing his voice. The lady who does his voice.
Yeah, Weezy's voice actor.
Well, I can imagine what Finn's design would look like in season 1.
That'd be kind of cool because, he would be the same design as Kiki in a way. But I guess due to the people at Sony, I should say. I just say Sony because Dragon Tales is owned by Sony. Is that the right ownership?
Yes. Sony and Sesame Workshop both made the
I'll just
show.
say
Both
Sony.
those guys.
Yeah, Sony didn't have the right budget to make a cool, proper animation cell model of him, so they just used Kiki in season 1.
Did you know that one of the Muppet cast members, Steve Whitmire, has gotten fired?
Oh no! I don't know what happened.
I
ago.
know Steve did Ernie since Jim Henson passed away in 1990.
Actually, Steve Whitmire voiced Kermit in 1990 since Jim Henson's passing, but he did not voice Ernie until 1993.
That was honestly a weird. Yeah, the last episode, Hello Miss Tips, which kind of reminds me of Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Yeah.
It's like Miss Tips is substituting for Quetzal, kind of like how in Magic Railroad, Mr. Conductor's taking place on the island of Soda for Sir Tom Hat while he's on a holiday.
Vacation, of course.
Yeah.
They always use holiday instead.
Do you know who voices Miss Tips?
But you know how you said one of the actors who voices... You know how Spike was voiced by the same actor who voiced Max? Danny someone?
Danny McKinnon.
That's the same actor who voiced Spike. Like, I think it's not the same one who voices Lorca, because I think Miss Tips has a different voice from Lorca. Yeah. And, like, I know this is the disc I want to show you, Jake Martin, because I know yours is not the same as mine. Yours is the reprint from 2009.
But it's still...
And it has different previews as well as a result.
Well, I think his still has the same previews, just like this copy.
Yeah, a different family.
Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention to my opening video.
Oh, well, I've watched an opening. I just checked out an opening video to see this has the out of sync Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo out of sync.
My DVD of Dragon Tales Let's Be Brave also has the Sony Pictures Home Entertainment logo out of sync, but it has no previews at all.
Yeah,
that's kind of strange.
Unlike this and say Hola to Enrique, they have previews.
And also, I don't know what to say about No Hitter. Well, yes, it kind of reminds me of the pilot episodes of Jack in the Pack series. Like,
oh yeah,
Jack jumps in, like I know,
when
at the end,
Jenny calls off Jack at the end, safety first means you don't jump in where you don't belong. I think that's Alec Baldwin's take when he says safety first means you don't jump in where you don't belong. But Michael Angelus's version, I think it goes safety first means you don't rush in where you don't belong. But in Alec Baldwin, he says don't jump in where you don't belong.
I can imagine what it would be like if
that was a
Michael
friend in need.
Brennan
Like,
version of it. It would be like,
don't jump in where you don't belong. And I know Jack very sadly too. Yeah, I know Jack with a sad face said, "I'm sorry, Miss Jenny."
Maybe you're not ready for the pack yet.
I can
See
imagine
how well you
the Michael Brennan version of Jack jumps in is.
Ooh,
well,
Be like, safety first means you don't jump in where you belong.
God, Michael Brandon would sound more harsher.
For the pack.
And also, I had a dream about improving No Hitter. Like, yeah, like improving
I did it
No
before.
Hitter.
Well, mind if we take this outside for a second, guys? I think it's reaching 9 o'clock, but we can still keep going.
All right.
Yeah, but mind if you guys mute the mics and I can take my thing outside and I can turn my camera off as well as mic.
Sure thing.
Yeah. Just think of what would happen if Max hit Zach and Wheezy or Cassie no hitter as well.
Well, Flicka. Well, yes, Flicka. I had a dream about improving No Hitter, Max would regret on changing from his anger to his sadness, like after he hits his teammates and he got out of the game, and he would have felt like heartbroken, and he would have
Cried.
and he would have explained to Quetzal how sad he was, and what else? And even if he felt terrible for hitting both Ord and Emmy, and then he would have burst into tears, and he would have bellowed with a sad tone of voice and vows to never play Dragon Ball anymore and cried immediately.
Yeah.
Silly hairpiece. And then Quetzal would have cheered him up, even his teammates. And yeah, and
Yeah, that episode kind of.
All right, here I am, guys. I heard you guys talking about something. I was setting up something.
GameLover98, do you want me to tell you what something reminds me of? You know what this Dragon Tales episode, Big Funky Cloud, reminds me of?
What does it remind?
It reminds me of the SpongeBob SquarePants episode, Are You Happy Now? Where Squidward is.
Oh my god.
I have that episode. That would be the complete 8th season.
God, I cannot even watch season.
I'd say Are You Happy Now is even worse than Big Funky Cloud because Squidward is suicidal.
Yeah, and while you guys were talking about how, might we do your fan-made no-hitter? We can do the fan-made no-hitter to Jake Martin.
Yeah,
yes.
And you...
Yes,
Wait, can I be Max or can you be Max?
You can be Max and I'll be Zach.
Remember when we did the Guess the Boys version when we did family what? How would we do this? But I just do the
join in.
Slap.
I should have joined in, but I never had the chance. But now I do.
But yeah, and this one, but it was just me and Flick Love 2000 Jake Barn, but I did the one where he bites Zach and Wheezy, but only Zach cries hard because he's prone to boo-boos, but Wheezy calls out for Quetzal because only Zach cries because he's the one who's more prone to get boo-boos. Zach.
All right.
How I do the one with him slapping? Max slaps after he gets annoyed at Zach and Wheezy bumping into him every time when they're trying to exercise.
What about actually I like the biting part.
Oh yeah, Jake Barn gets to see this for the first time. You'll be Zach, right?
Yeah, I will be Zach.
Okay, ready? Here goes.
Take it out.
Ouch! You boo-boo alert! Boo-boo alert! You bit me!
Zach, are you alright, Zachy? Are you alright, Zachy?
No, I am not alright! Zach bit me!
Max?
No, Max bit me.
Max bit me!
And then Wheezy would...
I was trying not to! I was trying not to catch it, but then Max turned away from the ball, and I caught the ball anyway, and then... he bit me!
There's no way Max would have bite people's tails. That would never happen.
Well...
he's 4, for crying out loud.
Bite them in the scale area.
Yeah, not their tail, but just on the scales portion.
Bit me!
Scales?
Bit my scales!
Yes. Scales, of course.
Scales!
That would never happen.
Yeah, and then another one, when Quetzal says, Max, we had this conversation before. I thought you would learn not to do this again. And if you do this one more time, Nino, I'm gonna have to kick you out of the game for real. And then, yes, he would push Max.
Push Cassie into the mud.
And then, what would Max say when he gets so mad when Cassie accidentally pushed him and Max got so angry? Watch it, Cassie!
It'd be like, watch it, Cassie! I warned you! You're gonna get a push! Because you didn't watch it!
Yes, he pushes her like that.
And he's like,
Are you alright, Cassie?
no! I need to go see Dr. Boo-Boo Gone immediately! Max pushed me into the mud, and my head is really hurting me!
Alright, I will tell Maxito that he's going to have to be kicked out of the game. Maxito, I am so disappointed in you, Nino. I thought you have learned to never do this ever again. And now, Nino, I'm gonna have to kick you out of the game now.
And then I'm gonna add a scene with Emmy. It's like, Max, I warned you. You're gonna be in big trouble. I am calling your mom about your behavior.
Or what if I did it my version? How about I go fine, I'm going home then. Goodbye, everyone. I wish to use this rhyme to go back home until next time. And he just plays.
That's familiar to Tales You Lose.
And then after that, we could have Emmy say, "Fine, but I'm telling Mom on you when I come home."
Or what if, like, in my version, yes, like, say, like, Tales You Lose in version 2, but then Max feels bad, he wants to prove he cannot do this again, and then he goes, I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons
in a land apart.
And then we could have Emmy talk to Max severely. He's like, Max, what you did was so wrong.
Or what if Max did apologize this time?
I am going to tell your mother on you.
Or what if Max did say sorry?
And then after Max said sorry, Emmy said, I know you're sorry, but you're still going to get told off by your mother because I think you need to learn a lesson at home, too, and not just Dragonland.
Yeah, and also, like, when Max's mom takes him away from Dragonland, and his mom says his dad have talked it over. You're going to be punished for a month. No going to Dragonland for a month. I should just be a pretend. This would be a pretend Max's second time crying in Dragon Tales before One Big Wish even existed. Because Snow Dragons was his first time crying, Max. And then I would do, what? Oh, that's not fair. Now I can't go to Dragonland for a month. And then I won't get to see my
son.
son.
But it's for your own good. You're also grounded from TV for a week.
That's no biggie. I don't even watch TV much. Or
Still, you're not gonna watch TV at all. I will take your TV into. I will unplug your TV until further notice.
And yes, Max would spend a lot more of his time grounded. Yeah, I was thinking of keeping on the time, guys, because I actually got to go do something in a few minutes. So we can keep talking for like 24 more minutes if that's okay. But yeah. Yeah, let's get to the next release.
Right. Elmo's World, Babies, Dogs, and More.
But it has the episode Fun on the Farm.
Life on the Farm.
Life on the Farm. Not Fun on the Farm. Life on the Farm. Despite says more, it has the Life on the Farm episode.
Except the actual episode itself is just called Farms.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. And also, did you notice something interesting, Jake Martin? I noticed another thing. Bear in the Big Blue House was on your thumbnail YouTube profile image. Does this mean you like Bear in the Big Blue House?
Yes.
The very first episode of that one is Home is Where the Bear Is.
And just like how I have a picture of Elmo in my YouTube thumbnail because Sesame Street is one of my favorites.
Yeah, the regular Sesame Street along with Elmo's World. Well, yeah, let's get to the rest of the Babies, Dogs, and More version.
And this DVD was released on May 14th of 2002, even though it was released on VHS on May 2nd, 2000, being the last VHS to be released when it was still called Children's Television Workshop.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of interesting because, like I said, I watch Babies and Dogs a lot on PBS Kids of Elmo's World.
Do you know what Sesame Street episodes you saw on TV with those episodes?
I cannot remember because I know it's just I like this. Both Sesame Street are the regular ones in Elmo's World. I know there's, yeah, and also when I see the Count Von Count ones where he counts the number of the day, his laugh also cracks me up, kind of like Finn's does.
Yeah. Or what about in the letter portion when Cookie Monster eats the letter of the day by mistake, and then he feels bad for doing so.
Like, which example would that happen?
That would be like when Cookie Monster and Ernie appear in the letter of the day segment with the letter A.
Yeah. And also, yes, I can do count.
Noticed that in some of the letter of the day segments, Frank Oz voiced Cookie Monster, while in other letter of the day segments, David Rudman did the voice.
Yeah, and also, Count Von Count is Muppeteered by someone else because the other person passed away.
Jerry
He still does
Nelson.
Matt Vogel is now the current voice of the Count. Just like Matt Vogel is still the current voice of Big Bird after Carol Spinney passed away.
Yeah, because you know how this one actor who replaced Jerry someone, or is it Jenny someone, when she passed away, and that person passed away, he still does the great laugh of the Count.
And also, I remember when Eric Jacobson started doing the voice of Guy Smiley right after Jim Henson passed away.
I remember that, yeah.
I can imagine what it... for some reason, there was actually one Sesame Street sketch where Jim Henson voiced Harry Monster instead of Jerry Nelson.
Yeah.
He's
Kind
like,
of interesting.
Hey, you! Hey, Fuzzy Face! Why are you crying and looking up in the sky? That's what Jim Henson's Harry sounded like.
Whoa. That was interesting, despite it was after Jim Henson passed away.
No, it was in the very early seasons of Sesame Street.
Okay. Well, before that, okay. My mistake. Anyway.
So anyway, that was Baby Sogs and Life on the Farm. This also has Michael Jeter as Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle, in all three of those Elmo's World segments on this DVD.
Yeah, I actually can do the Elmo impression if you like.
I could do it too.
Great idea, Dorothy. Let's ask Mr.
Noodle.
And then when they see both Mr. Noodles, they say, "Look, it's
Mr. Noodle and his brother, Mr. Noodle."
They're learning about dogs."
Well, actually, Bill Irwin does not appear in any of those three episodes. It's just Michael Jeter in these three episodes.
Okay, well they just duplicate to make sure there's two Mr. Noodles. Like, kind of like how, like in the dogs one, yes, the dog runs away from Mr. Noodle. And what about the life on the farm one? What does Mr. Noodle do in that one?
Mr. Noodle accidentally imitates the wrong animals before imitating the chicken.
Oh God! Like they use a Muppet version of a chicken, or just a real chicken?
They used a Muppet version of a chicken, and
okay, because in the dogs one, it's a real life dog. Because for a fact, yes, I know I have to watch the dogs one. Like also when Elmo says, "Turn yourself on, TV," and then they say the dog channel. Yeah, I like the announcer's voice of Elmo's TV announcing the channel's name of the subject.
Apparently, the original announcer was named Ron Marshall, and he passed away in 2000. So
too bad, but he's in a.
Season 3 was produced in 2000. I know that season 3 was produced in 2000, even though it aired in 2001, because of Ron Marshall's voice.
That's interesting. Yeah, and also like you were saying, yes, Jake Martin, the no-hitter episode of Dragon Tales reminds you of the 2 episodes from season 6 with Jack in the Pack.
Yes. Yes. And by the way, about improving, instead of like Max getting punished, instead he would have felt very, very terrible for hitting his teammates, and then if he was out of the game for a while, and yes, he explains to Quetzal about what happened, about him feeling sad, and he vows to never play Dragon Ball anymore if he's gonna keep the hitting up, and cries immediately, and then his teammates, including Quetzal, they would have cheered him up.
Yeah, I would have liked that better if they did make but yeah, and also
you remember how I said that the season 2 Dragon Tales episode Big Funky Cloud reminded me of the season 8 SpongeBob episode Are You Happy Now?
Yes.
Do you find the SpongeBob season 8 episode Are You Happy Now to be even worse than Big Funky Cloud because of Squidward being suicidal?
I might get over that episode, including no hitter, but I know you guys are unable to.
Yeah, because yes, I know like how Cassie explains out when Quetzal takes Max to the timeout of the game, saying you're gonna have to come out of the game for a while, and Cassie goes, "Now what? Without Max, we won't have enough players to play the game."
And then Zach sadly says, "We'll never win now."
And then Quetzal explains, "You saw how Ord was sad when you kicked him, Max."
I did use my words, but he wouldn't
Well-
listen.
But
Well,
the next time you feel like hitting somebody, stop and find something to hit instead.
Ha! And he kicks the balls.
Also,
Yeah.
what if there was
yeah.
one episode of season 4 where Emmy and Max were both angry and they both left Dragonland early? Because they
Oh.
both,
Oh man, not happening.
More.
and then
more-
Enrique would be like, guys, and then it would be called The Return of the Grudge, in which a grudge is stuck on both Emmy and Max's heads.
Kind of like the different version of The Grudge Won't Budge from season 2.
Or maybe it should be called The Fury Returns, where instead of just Max being angry, this time it's Max and Emmy being angry, and Enrique is trying to help them find ways to calm them down.
Yeah, like you know how like when Max gets so explains out how can he calm down the Furies out, and so like how can I calm down when I get mad? I get so mad.
And
then
then what if they said the exact same line in the sequel to the episode called The Return of the Fury, where after Max said it, Emmy agrees with him and says, "Me too, Max."
like yes, they say have to say they count backwards from 10 to 1. That's like they say that's what Dad says to them when they get one of them gets angry at each other.
And also, I was thinking of something too, like when, like, what would you like to happen in the episode where both Max and Emmy are both mad and they both have a fury telling them to stay mad?
Well, it's just isn't that the different version of like either the Fury's out on this one from
It's a
season
different
1?
version of the fury is out on this one.
Or I thought it was gonna be like how on The Grudge Won't Budge there's a grudge on Zack.
Yeah, it's going to be a sequel to The Fury is out on this one called The Return of the Fury, where this time it's not just Max being angry, it's Max and Emmy both being angry.
And yeah, also don't get me started, that kind of reminds me of the episode Hand in Hand from season 3, where Max and Emmy's hands were glued to each other like that. Like, just pretend if like Dr. Mario came to Dragonland.
That reminds me of when SpongeBob and Squidward were accidentally merged together in the SquidBob Tentacle Pants episode 2.
God, that's what it reminds me of. Hand in Hand reminds me of that SquidBob Tentacle Pants episode of
Season
SpongeBob.
4.
Yeah, like the one where they're like when when they go from different montages and then and they get it just gets creepier and creepier and then
like freaks out and says, "Try anything! I cannot go to my clarinet recital like this."
and you know how like for some reason the audience liked them merged together, and then Sandy and Squidward tried to tell Sandy not to do it because like the audience liked him and SpongeBob together.
Yeah.
And then Squidward messed up the machine, and everyone got. And then his therapist says, "What seems to be the problem,
And then
Tentacles?"
Squidward says,
It all started when I was born.
God, and everyone's like in his body. Gross. The ending was so gross.
Ugh,
Like
sick.
who was in that one with Squidward all this gray stuff? Who were the characters in there? SpongeBob, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, and some
SpongeBob,
other.
Patrick, Mr. Krabs. Pearl was stuck in there.
Even Mrs. Puff as well.
Pearl was stuck in there
He
too.
could be seen in the middle.
What-
Yeah, and also can I tell you?
They
Yeah.
actually made
Oh,
they actually made an episode with Pearl and Squidward both being the main characters. A season 11 episode called Whale Watching, where Squidward had to babysit Mrs. Puff while Mr. Krabs was away.
whoa, that is weird if you ask me. But you also something else funny. I hate the part in Whale of a Birthday when Pearl went crying out of the high school. But then what if the principal
Krusty
called said,
Krab or
yeah, so the Krusty Krab in Whale of a Birthday from season 4? Is it still
yeah,
season?
season 4, correct. Season 4.
And like Pearl would have seriously gotten in trouble with the school principal, like saying you should never do that. It's because to run away from school like that, then you'll get in big trouble. Like that's what I didn't do as a kid. I never ran away like a crybaby.
What if there was a what if there was a sequel to the episode called Starfish of a Birthday, in which this time Squidward and Plankton make fun of Patrick, and then Patrick runs out of the Krusty Krab crying and back to his rock, and then SpongeBob tries to comfort him for his birthday. It's like,
Yeah.
SpongeBob!
Oh my god. And also, yeah, also, like, you know how in Three's a Crowd, like, Cassie does not cry in that episode, thank goodness. But she just...
Or doesn't do it either.
Like, he notices what's wrong with Cassie, and they ask, Cassie, what are you doing here, all sitting here by yourself? And then Zach says, that doesn't make any sense.
And also, in the season 1 episode of Feet on Her Feet, Cassie had a tone of voice that sounded like she was going to cry, but she didn't in that episode from season 1 either.
Yeah. I would have imagined if it did. Yeah, I would have imagined if that happened.
You would imagine if what happened? If
Cassie did cry in a Feet on Her Feet, but luckily that didn't happen. And you know something else, Jake Martin? Have you seen Baby Troubles from season 1 of Dragon Tales? It is so cute.
Hang on. I do not have the Adventures in Dragonland DVD and the VHS. Let's all share.
Well, you can just watch the episode on YouTube. Just go to the Baby Troubles portion and tell me what you think.
WCOstream.com, you can find episodes there.
Well, true, yeah. Because, I mean, there's a YouTuber called Jedi Geek where he has some playlists of Dragon Tales. Go to the season 1 playlist and you can just find the episodes. Despite they have wrong episode titles, episode 32 is Baby Troubles.
Yeah.
At least this one, Kiki cried very quietly. Not like compared to Finn's Blanky where it gets more annoying.
No. Of course not.
And
it's due to Ellen Kennedy as the voice of Kiki. Like, you know, well, first, like, you know,
Kennedy was also the voice of Cassie's mother in the episode as well.
Yeah, like, we know when Cassie says, "Here, Kiki, you want your baba?" And then they go, "Watch out!" And they go, "Uh-oh!" And they go, "Ew!" Yeah, the close call. And then they say, "No, Kiki, that's not for eating."
If you eat that pork, you can get sick.
What would you imagine? Movie&GameLover98. What would you imagine happen in the sequel to the episode The Fury is out on this one called The Return of the Fury, where Max and Emmy are both mad at...
Well, that'd be interesting because they pair it up with The Fury's Out on this one, the original. But The Fury's Out on this one would be the B portion of the season 4 episode.
Now, what would you like to happen in the A portion of the episode called The Return of the Fury, where Max and Emmy are... Where this time it's not just Max being angry. Sure, Max is angry, but Emmy is also angry. They both are.
Like they can't they can't play this sport or something?
Well, maybe it's like, it's not fair. We'll never be great skiers.
Well, that would make sense because, you know, what if the Fury appeared and, like, they still go through Mr. Dustfree's house like they did in the Balancing Act from season 2?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And also, oh, yeah. Can I also tell you the funniest... Can I tell you something funny, Jake Martin, about the funniest portion of The Great White Cloud Whale? Is when Wheezy sings, oh, where has my great white whale gone?
And then Zach says, that's a dog song!
He literally breaks the fourth wall, but he doesn't even say, look at the audience. But, yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Barney, come on over to Barney's house. Where has my little dog gone? Yes, you don't have that either, Jake Martin. Come on over to Barney's.
And let's see, what was I trying to think about improving no hitter? And I wish Quetzal would have forgive Max and first off, Max would have apologized to Quetzal for breaking the rules and his teammates for hitting in the first place, and then his teammates, including Quetzal, would have forgive him.
Well, yes, he could have just said, I'm sorry. Because, you know, like, this one YouTuber, this Solvik person, he does not like the portion of The Great Discovery, like, when Thomas didn't even say sorry when he tried to make Stanley look foolish in The Great Discovery and his plan backfired. when the trucks broke free from Stanley and it caused the tower to collapse. He didn't want that to happen.
Great Waterton.
And also,
But I know Stanley saw Thomas's sad face after the accident.
And also, so anyway, remember the Dragon Tales episode Snow Dragons? What if they made another episode like this where it's this time called Cassie Catches a Cold? This time it focuses on Emmy and Cassie's point of view.
Well, or maybe they just do a different version, like, Cassie's this time goes to the school with them. Cassie's the only one.
Zach and Wheezy join in the fun in the Snow Dragon as well.
Well, yes, they have to put Enrique as well, because, we could have another episode with just Ord absent, because like how, where's Ord, Quetzal? Oh, I'm afraid Ord couldn't come.
He has caught the cold from Cassie.
He's got a little cold, niños.
No! Ord was supposed to join us in the Snow Dragons. It's not fair.
I'm sure you'll have fun, even when Zach and Wheezy are here this time. Unlike when it was just me and Max and Ord from last time.
That was me doing a Zach voice saying, "No! I was looking forward to have Ord joining us for the Snow Dragon. It's not fair."
Well, yeah. Have you seen the episode Super Snow Day Flick Love 2000, where that's when they put more characters than besides just Max and Ord in Snow Dragons?
And what if this time Zach and Wheezy were the ones that got lost while trying to find a way in the Snow Dragon in the sequel instead of Ord?
That'd be interesting, because at least I don't think we would see really Enrique cry really hard, because how in Feliz Cumpleaños
Enrique would actually not cry at all. This time it's just Zach and Wheezy, and he's like, "Pull it, get it together, get a hold of yourself. We'll get out of this.
We'll get out of this in no time."
Really?
Claro que sí. What does claro que sí mean in Spanish? Claro que sí means something in Spanish? What does claro que sí mean in Spanish?
I've only heard it once in a Dragon Tales episode. In a couple Dragon Tales episodes, but
yeah, I'll have to translate saying what does.
Do you know how hard Zach's tone of voice should be when he cries after getting lost in the Snow Dragon in the sequel? Because when Ord did it, it was pretty loud.
Very, very loud compared to his no-hitter cry.
What should Zach's be like in the sequel?
I miss my mommy and daddy.
Well, actually, and then Wheezy joins in and is like, "I miss them too." And then they both Zach, Wheezy, ¿qué pasa?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Yeah, we can talk for a few more minutes, guys. It's getting close to 9:30 in my area.
And yes, the no-hitter improving. After Max's teammates, including Quetzal, after they cheered Max up, they would have hugged him and make him feel happy again and no longer feel heartbroken before he comes back to the game. And
then tries not to hit again.
And then Max would have bandaged their skins, like Emmy's arm where he punched and Ort's tail where he kicked.
Put a bandage? If they had bandages in this, because they never put safety kits. That's why they should have put those in just in case of Max's behavior in the first place.
I can imagine. I could imagine what it would be like if they made a sequel to the episode "Do Not Pass the Gnome," where this time Emmy accidentally breaks something of Max's favorites, and this time instead of Max getting angry, this time Max is very sad and he cries, unlike Emmy, who got angry.
That'd be kind of a different version, yeah. And just
"Now, Emmy, remember, this is my special box. This is my special crayon. Please don't use it too much or you'll break it."
And then Emmy didn't listen, and then Max gets up.
"No!"
I'm sorry.
My crayons!
Ah, that's very unfortunate. That's very Kapasa. We'll have to figure out a way to get this crayon fixed.
And then Simon Soundman appears again.
I'm so sorry,
Simon appears again.
Max.
Hey, I'm Simon, and I'm here to
I'm
help
sorry,
you
Max.
fix Max's crayon.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think it's gonna reach 9:30 in my area, guys. But you guys can keep going while I go do some.
Stay until like maybe 9:30, 9:45 or something.
Mine's
I'm actually
8:29.
Well, I'm actually gonna go play a game actually in about a minute, so I'm gonna actually leave. But you guys can keep chatting if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go and leave, guys, but I'll let you guys keep talking if that's fine.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
Now,
Anyways, Flicka.
how would you improve the episode Tails You Lose?
I don't know how to improve Tails You Lose.
Yeah. I thought of this. What if beginning in season 4, Chuck E. Cheese's would sponsor Dragon Tales, just like Chuck E. Cheese's sponsored shows like Clifford and Barney and Maya and Miguel? So season 4 could be the first season to use to have Chuck E. Cheese's sponsor Dragon Tales.
But yeah, but they stopped. They don't do season 4 of Dragon Tales, which is
I know they
unfortunate.
don't do it, but it's in our imagination. We could have
our imaginations are
in our imagination. Right. We could have season 4 begin in like August of 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we can have a different actor play Max instead of Danny McKinnon. This time it could be Robert Naylor, who did the voice of DW in Arthur, doing the voice of Max in the 4th season. And what if season 4 used other PBS Kids idents as well, besides just the 1999 ones with Dot and Dash? Season 4 could also use the Transformation ones and the Fishbowl and Snow Globe ident too.
Could be interesting and funny.
Which episode would you find worse? The Big Funky Cloud Dragon Tales episode or the Are You Happy Now SpongeBob episode?
Well, I haven't watched those guys yet. But I know Are You Happy Now cannot be up on YouTube because of copyright infringements by Viacom.
And the fact that Squidward is very depressed. He even cries at the very beginning of the episode before saying he doesn't have a happiest memory. Did you notice that in one of the earlier Dragon Tales releases, they used a children's television version at the end?
Where?
The semicircle one, the one with the words "Play It Smart" at the bottom of the CTW logo on the very early Dragon Tales DVD, on the very early Dragon Tales releases at the very end from 2000 to 2001.
Man, they used the CTW logo both Sesame Street and Dragon Tales.
The semicircle one on both of those shows. And believe it or not, this is one of the latest Dragon Tales releases with the CTW semicircle logo at the very end. It's this
Hang
one.
on. All right. Anyways, keep on trying. I don't have it. Of course not.
What is very odd about this VHS is that the packaging says 2000, but the VHS was actually released in 2001, at the very beginning of 2001.
I have no idea why these people are having problems with the years of those tapes and those DVDs. Like Easy as 123 says 2002 on the disc when it's really from 2003.
Or like Keep on Trying on VHS says 2000 when it's really from 2001. Or another example would be one of the Sesame Street VHS releases, Let's Eat Funny Food Song says 1998 when it's really from 1999.
Darn Sony having problems with the years.
Anyway, those were... Anyway, what are some of your least favorite classic series Thomas and Friends episodes? The ones before the Michael Brandon era.
I don't have a least favorite of the classic series of Thomas and Friends. Like nothing made me mad.
What about in the Soder's Legend of the Lost Treasure when Sir Topham Hatt yelled, "Thomas the Tank Engine!"
Oh yeah, that Keith Wickham and that fat controller would not let Thomas finish his sentences. Oh yeah, I know. Movie&GameLover98 almost cried at the same exact time when he grew furious.
Or what about when Squidward was saying, "You call yourselves good neighbors? You're the worst neighbors ever!" From the episode Good Neighbors.
I have it. Not only I have it in the complete 4th season DVD, but I also have it in...
Where's Gary?
Yes, here it is.
What? Out of all the SpongeBob characters who cried the most, how would you rank characters crying from most to least? I know SpongeBob and Patrick and Mr. Krabs cry a lot.
I'm not real sure because I haven't been watching those SpongeBob videos for a long time. I mean,
well,
I don't see any episodes that stresses me out, but there was one from season 5 that will be none other than Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, which I have it in the complete 5th season. Like, you know, Gary, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, and Mr. Krabs, or Mr. Krabs, I meant to say, yeah, Mr. Krabs, are being a jerk off to SpongeBob.
But you know what's worse?
Calling him an idiot boy, causing him to run away.
You know what's worse? In the middle, even though Patrick and Mr. Krabs feel bad about SpongeBob, Squidward, on the other hand, does not feel bad about it whatsoever. He says, "If I'd known that was the last time I'd ever seen SpongeBob, I would have slammed the door in his face even harder."
What? Well, he should have felt terrible. Like I know in Pizza Delivery, he felt sorry for SpongeBob.
And in Dine for Pie, he actually cried when he thought SpongeBob was going to die.
Hmm.
That you get what I said, and like in Dying for Pie, Squidward actually cried when he thought that SpongeBob was gonna die.
But SpongeBob didn't. He did not die.
Is there some episodes of SpongeBob from season 6 that you don't like?
I don't know what season 6 episode that I despise, but there's one from season 3 that I despise. That will be New Student Starfish, because Mrs. Puff thinks SpongeBob drew that ugly picture of her as Big Fat Meanie, and she removed one of SpongeBob's Good Noodle stars from the Good
Even though
Noodle
Patrick was the one that drew the Big Fat Meanie thing in the first place, SpongeBob was blamed for it.
Yeah. If I wrote this episode, that would have been better if SpongeBob would have told Mrs. Puff that it wasn't him who drew that ugly picture, it was Patrick who did that.
And then Patrick could have gotten his comeuppance and would have gotten a gold star taken away from Patrick instead of SpongeBob.
Well, Patrick doesn't have any stars yet.
Well, yeah. But there's a similar episode that involves another character at boating school besides SpongeBob. You know, besides New Student Starfish with Patrick, there's also boating buddies with Squidward at Mrs. Puff's boating school.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you find? Which one do you like better? Do you like boating buddies where Squidward has to go to boating school after getting a ticket, or New Student Starfish where SpongeBob invites Patrick to boating school?
Well, I ain't choosing New Student Starfish because I told you it's my least favorite because that part made me mad, but Boating Buddies is better.
How is it better in a way?
Because, I don't know when I do not understand, but at least SpongeBob did not get in trouble, of course.
Yeah, I could imagine if they made a sequel to this one where Squidward where this time Patrick drew something inappropriate and Squidward was blamed for the inappropriate picture, despite Patrick drawing an inappropriate picture as well.
That would have been a bad idea.
What would be bad about it with Patrick drawing something inappropriate and then Squidward getting blamed for the incident?
Yeah, that would be even more worse that Squidward got blamed.
So, what do you think would happen if Squidward got blamed for something that Patrick actually did?
He would have told the truth, saying it wasn't him, it was Patrick, and he would have pointed to Patrick, his finger, of course.
And he would be like, Patrick, you were the one that got me in trouble. What about the ending of the Fiasco episode where Plankton gets arrested for stealing a piece of art, but then Squidward also gets arrested for lying to the police officers?
I did not watch that episode either. I don't know when.
I can imagine what it'd be like if they made an episode where Squidward had stolen the secret formula from Plankton. And he's like, you can't have the formula. It's mine now. And then when Mr. Krabs is like, Mr. Squidward, where is the formula? Has Plankton been trying to take it from you again?
I don't know what words Squidward was going to say.
There were actually a couple of episodes where Plankton and Squidward were both being the main characters, like in Chum Fricassee, where Squidward went to the chum bucket with Plankton to work on Chum Fricassee. And also, what if in one of the episodes, Mr. Lawrence was unavailable to voice Plankton, so Roger Bumpus had to do the voice of Squidward and Plankton?
I don't know, but I don't know if it could upset a lot of kids or everybody if they like Mr. Doug Lawrence, because he could be a bit outstanding.
Well, which character would you find worse in attitude? Plankton because of his or Squidward because of his grumpiness?
Hang on. Sorry about that. Got distracted.
Which character's attitude do you find worse on SpongeBob? Plankton because of his evilness, or Squidward because of his grumpiness?
Maybe Squidward, because he grumbles too much.
What were your thoughts on the Two Faces of Squidward episode from season 5, especially when at the beginning when Squidward gets fed up with SpongeBob and Patrick, then he shouts, "I don't care!"
Ha!
What are some of your released? Are there some SpongeBob episodes from season 1 or season 2 that you despise?
I don't have a least favorite on these 2 seasons of SpongeBob.
Is there a least favorite from season 4 you don't like? Like Funny Pants?
Funny Pants. Oh, no. Funny Pants doesn't stress me out.
What are your thoughts on season 7 and season 8 of SpongeBob?
Not even season 7 and 8. Yeah. I don't know if I could find something that makes me mad.
But you said there was something from season 5 you didn't like.
Yeah, I already told you about whatever happened to SpongeBob.
Yeah. Even though it actually aired in the middle of season 6 from 2008. It actually aired in the middle of season 6, despite it being a season 5 episode, due to it airing in 2008.
Strange.
Some people seem to believe that season 6 is even worse than season 5. Like,
Those
some
people
think that Choir Boys was a bad episode of season 6.
Why do they despise Choir Boys?
Because they thought the running gags were a little bit obnoxious and some of the gags were not really funny.
Funny or not funny gags.
And are there some season 3 episodes you find kind of weird or strange?
I'm not real sure.
Well, Crabboard is one of the strangest episodes of season 3 I've ever seen because SpongeBob thought Mr. Krabs was a robot when really he's not.
Crabborg? Well, when I find it a little interesting at the beginning, like when SpongeBob was watching Light of the Robot, that guy screaming sounds a little familiar like Squilly and Fancy Son. That'll be D Baker,
D. Bradley Baker, yes.
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker when he was
He was actually he was also the voice of Bubble Bass in SpongeBob as well.
Even Bubble Bass as well. And yes, he was shouting because the robot was chasing him and he has to run as fast as he could.
Which SpongeBob actor do you find to be the most talented out of all of them?
Well, I know in Frankendoodle from season 2, the artist sounded like Plankton and Larry.
Well, what if there was a sequel to Frankendoodle where there was another artist where this time it's Roger Bumpus being the artist this time, aka the voice of Squidward. And then when he loses his pencil, he's like, "No!" Screaming like Squidward almost.
Roger Bumpus?
Yeah.
And I know
sequel to that episode where Roger Bumpus was the artist this time, and he's like, "No, my pencil!"
And yes, I know Frankendoodle, the artist of the sea, sounded like both Larry and Plankton. That's because that'll be none other than the show writer himself, Mr. Doug Lawrence.
Do you find Roger Bumpus pretty talented as well, kind of like Mr. Lawrence in a way?
Well, I know in Goons on the Moon from season 11, there was a fourth wall breaker. Like Squidward found his voice actor and they scream at the same time.
Yeah. And what do you think a Squidward or Plankton scream is more squeakier?
Maybe Squidward, because he always screams in a little bit of a high tone.
Like, whereas when he does when Doug Lawrence does it, it's like, not quite as squeaky, but a little bit, but not as much as the Squidward screech. And you know when Patrick does the screaming, he makes the scream kind of sound more like a cry sometimes, like especially when he goes.
I know Band Geeks.
In Band Geeks,
I meant to say.
Patrick's screams sound more like a cry than a scream.
Yeah, like everybody was disappointed. Like, is Patrick hurt or something?
And Sandy was the one that kicked Patrick into that door.
And Patrick had his body on the whole instrument of that trombone when he heads back inside.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts on Squidward's line when Squidward tells them like they crushed his happiness?
I don't know what his reaction if they crushed his thing.
Well, you did it. You took my one chance of happiness and crushed it. Crush it in a little tiny bite-sized pieces.
Yeah. Um, anyways, Flicka, I gotta go. I gotta
All right.
go. My Mimi needs me.
All right. I will. All right. Take care. And I.
You too. See ya.
Technically, this wasn't really a Sony Wonder Collection video. This was more of a conversation-like video. So, see you guys later.